Listeners. Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome to the Talking Basketball podcast.
And my name's Paul. Thank you for joining us.
Wow, I don't sound like that.
Well, I don't sound like that.
Well, I don't sound like that. That's literally identical.
Well, welcome to another edition of the Talking Basketball podcast. I am Mark.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better than what I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well done.
And who are you?
I am Paul.
Nice. Very nice. So, thank you for joining us once again. And we're now going to be going into the BBL realm. Because it's been quite a big week.
Another dent in the crown.
You're going
occurred.
straight in.
No,
Straight
I'll follow
in.
you. That was a big one.
Go on, do it.
Yeah, you want me to do it now?
You're excited.
All right.
I can see it. Frothing.
Another dent in the Lions' crown. I still think they are going to win the league. I'm still standing by that. If they get another L, then I will question it, and I'm going to take back that trophy I gave them.
Well, I mean, Cheshire are closing up.
Well, so Caledonia.
Yep.
So, I mean, look, let's talk about Caledonia taking on the Lions. The first thing that really stood out is Matt Morgan's not playing.
Yep.
And that's significant, arguably one of the best players in the league at the moment. But you can't discredit the Lions, and I think that Gabriel Olaseni, 26 points. Luke Nelson, 16 points. And the huge talking point of this game is that buzzer beater mark, wasn't it? Like Jordan Taylor, with the seconds dying out. And what was so good about that was clutch. So the score at that time, oh, bugger. I've lost my note on that. I don't know what the score was.
It was 80-80, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry, it's 83-80. That's it. There it is. I wrote 83-83, which confused me. It was 83-80. He gets the ball, busts down the left-hand side, 3-point shot, fade away, boom! Takes it to overtime. But it wasn't enough. It was not enough. But Jordan Taylor, what a highlight reel with that shot. Jordan Taylor ended the game with 15 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds.
Yeah, I don't like the whole put an asterisk on it. Matt Morgan wasn't playing, etc. With any wins, it's the same as the last few London wins or anyone who plays. Got to play who's there.
Yeah, you got to play who's in front of you. But Matt Morgan is a pivotal character.
Yeah, there's no
He's
question.
a pivotal player. And look, let's look at the Gladiators. What's been going on. They're on the bounce. They had the good win against Bristol, and then they were going to the Copper Box. And you know what? Mark, I was disappointed I didn't watch this live. I was disappointed I didn't watch it live. Now seeing what happened, because I just had a feeling. I thought, you know what? I think London are going to walk it, and I was so wrong. Patrick Whelan was on fire with 24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals.
Yeah, he had a good game.
I think I could have a heart attack one day doing that.
It's ironic that I have and you haven't.
That's a good way to go. If you're, doing announcing, commentating, that's a good way to go. Where you go, Patrick Whelan, 44 points.
You sound like the guy in I can't remember what it's called. F is for Family. It's the guy who does the luggage bag.
Thank you. Ian DeBose with 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Yeah, arguably one of the players in the game.
Yeah, and Buttrick, Onwas, Palasa. I don't know how to say that. Palisa. I don't know how to say it. But look, all of those guys were in double digits as well. And what the key factor for me was just looking at, these 3 factors. Caledonia out-rebounded the Lions. Caledonia got more assists than the Lions. Caledonia got more steals than the Lions. You know, it's fundamental basketball. All credit to Caledonia taking the win at the Copper Box and denting the crown for a third time, second time at the Copper Box. There you go. There you go.
I'm going to say I was disappointed with the BBL in this one a little bit.
Why?
Because they were showing a lot of highlights about the great shot, and it was a great
Jordan
shot.
Tyler, yeah, great shot.
Yeah. Just breezed past the fact that Caledonia won. And it's what it reminded me a lot of when you see in the NBA and they show a shot and there's, oh, look what happened. Look who did this. Look who did that. And it's like, yeah, but they still lost. I understand that doing a highlight is a highlight. That's fine. But where's giving the credit to Caledonia because they did actually win and it was a tough game in overtime and they were playing away. So I was a little disappointed with that. But
I'm just trying to find the highlights so I can see how they've worded it on their thing.
yeah.
Here it is.
And also, I have noticed there's a disparity between, I guess, is the right word to use, their Twitter and the way they put stuff across, and the way they do stuff on Instagram. And I imagine there's different things on different social pages as well. So if any of the team do listen to that, you have to go to different places to find different bits of information sometimes.
Just looking at this highlight again, Jordan Taylor wanted that ball. He gets the ball at the top of 3-point. He passes it to his right.
Yeah.
And as soon as he passes it, he's like, give me that ball back. This is the Jordan Taylor show.
It's an unusual shot as well, isn't it? It's
beautiful. Beautiful. I like, he's celebrating.
Got that reach.
Celebrating there. But you're 100% right, Mark. I'm just looking at this. It's saying, they're talking about, here's the buzzer beater that happened in this game. Yeah.
Where's the bit of media afterwards saying Caledonia went on and won and we're doing a joint bit of promo with them? There isn't. And you go,
yeah.
It's things like that that will turn or put fans on a back foot saying, well, clearly the league is aligned with the Lions. And that's arguably unfair to the Lions.
I think that's unfair to the
Lions.
And that's
unfair to the Lions because that was a great game and that's a great shot. There's no question that. But you've got to give props to the people who win.
But what I love about
the NBA
all
recently
of these,
did one with Luka doing a pass and they nutmegged.
It's always the Mavs, isn't it?
No, but he nutmegged LeBron. But the NBA refused to put down who he nutmegged. They just did not put it, and everyone in the comments was, "Who's he nutmeg? Who was it?"
Well, that's what I was just about to say. What I do love about the BBL is they don't edit any comments on their social media platforms.
No, they don't.
And when I read through their comments, it's like, it's great entertainment sometimes.
Yeah, people.
You should comment. I was talking basketball podcasts.
It shows how little you follow what we actually post.
What? No, what?
We do comment on things.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
What do we comment?
I think you can all understand who comments and who runs the social media.
I didn't. Well, you're not on Facebook, are you? Is we got a Facebook thing?
No, but we have Instagram.
Oh, yeah. We'll get a Facebook one. I'll follow it.
I don't do Facebook. Maybe you can do that. Anyway, we're digressing. Let us know if we should have a Facebook, because I don't use Facebook and I haven't for almost a decade, a long time. So more than decades, more than 1 decade anyway. So, let us know what the best way to contact, because that's one of the things that I did mention, there is disparity between how you contact people on Twitter or you contact people on, everyone has a different way of getting through to people now.
Yeah.
And we want people to talk to us.
UK basketball podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah. So the other thing I was going to be doing, and I haven't told Paul this yet, is that we were considering doing like a Discord channel.
A disco channel?
God.
So that people we just play music and just go, yeah, London Lions just had a buzzer beater, Jordan Taylor.
You could actually do that as well, couldn't you? Highlights to disco music.
Yeah, this one goes out to Jordan Taylor with his buzzer beater.
Discord.
Yeah, Discord.
Yeah. As in a lot of people use it, and it's a way that get community together so that it's like an ongoing constant message board that everyone can be talking and people can contact us and so forth. So I was considering doing something like that, but it depends on how anyone who's listening wants to contact us. Because we've said send us emails, and other than various extend things or get rid of things on your body or CCTV or weird stuff, we don't get loads of emails.
I'm
But
going
we
to
do get
join
DMs.
Discord as Jordan Taylor and comment on the basketball
No,
podcast.
that's called identity theft. You can't do that.
Oh.
But let us know how you want to contact us, because we want to hear from everyone and we want to have conversations with our fans. So, when I say fans, that sounds really weird.
Fans?
People who listen to us, who for some reason keep listening. Oh, friends. Yeah, exactly.
But I would say, just want to clarify something now for anyone who does email ukbasketballpodcast@gmail.com. We have been trying to get Mark to follow a team, and so far he's adding all the things. If you email in and there isn't a team, we'll just take that as London Lions, yeah?
This week,
Yeah. So
I have got a step closer to choosing one. I'm just saying.
you don't, the listeners choose yours.
Well, if they're not going to pull their finger out and make an effort, then I'm going to choose them.
You got an email this week.
I got one email.
You got one email, and
But he did not mention the team.
yeah, so that's what we're saying. If they don't mention the team, it's London Lions. So far, London Lions are leading the way.
They are definitely
I am
not.
going to get you a Matt Morgan top.
And I would be grateful for that. And it'll be a wonderful charity item for something we do at the end of the year.
Why? London Lions, best team, dominating Europe. Right, let's go. What's next?
Over to you.
We've just done London Lions one.
God, really?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose I'll have to do one then. In that case, I will talk about a team that I'm very excited about. And it's a very exciting match.
Is this the team that you're starting to follow now?
No.
Oh.
But it was a very exciting match. And it gave me an observation which I hadn't appreciated. So first of all, we have to do a little bit of...
Oh, wow. Are you...
This is for
Are
Keith.
you... Oh.
And why are we doing this for
The
Keith?
Keith White streak's ended.
The streak has ended.
Damn it.
Newcastle lost to Surrey Scorchers. I mean, Keith, if you were at the game,
There's no way he was at the game.
you cursed it.
No way.
If you weren't at the game,
There's no way he was at the game.
that's why you cursed it. You weren't at the game. We're not saying that you're wholly responsible, Keith, but it's probably likely it falls on your shoulders.
But what a run the Eagles went on.
What an incredible run. That was an absolutely, what I thought was interesting was that the Scorchers are not a team, when you look on the league, you think, oh yeah, they're going to be sitting up there. That they were sitting down in sort of 8th position. They're going up to Newcastle, who were arguably ascending, although they've had a couple of little blips. And then that's, the mid-place calendar. They've just flipped all around. So Surrey bounced back because they had a win over the Patriots. And we thought, are they going to do anything good? They came out, they were fighting. And you've got to bear in mind, this is up in Newcastle as well. So
That's a tough place to go to.
that is a tough place to go to. That's a lovely arena.
The Eagles' Nest.
Yeah. And they'd only played a week before. So this last week, I think it was a 13 point.
I would have gone with the Scorchers set fire to the Eagles' Nest. They set fire to it.
Would you set fire to is that what you do in Eagle's Nest? Because if they're on top of a tree, can you just push it off?
Well, in basketball terms, yeah.
Just push it
Well, they're
off.
Scorchers. That's why I went with the fire.
Oh, I see.
Right.
You being clever there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work. So they went with a 13-point victory. So they came back and they've basically got revenge. So that's quite nice. They've gone on the road. They've taken a road victory away from Newcastle, who did the same to them. I have actually made a nice little note. And that was, when I can find my notes, because I'm trying to use my pad and be really sophisticated, and this is really backfiring for me.
Get an iPad and it won't do it, Mark.
I think you find it would. But yeah, I wanted to say with this one in particular, this was the Justin Robinson. There was a great play by Justin Robinson. I just wanted to highlight that. You don't often see teams when they have a player in who's a bit more established, shall we say, making plays and making moves that look like they've gelled really, really well, and he hasn't been there as long. And I thought he did such a great job for the team. Ultimately, Surrey were victors there, but I think Newcastle are still one of the top teams in the league, even though Surrey have done such a great job.
Wow.
But it does lead me on to my, I don't want to say weird thing, but I had never noticed before. That's the Scorchers team. Yeah. And that's their kit.
Yeah.
Did you see the Caledonia kit that they played against when they played against
London?
London.
Yeah,
Lions?
very similar.
Yeah, it's almost the same colour. Their away, it's like a paler blue. I'm just trying to get the picture of that now.
No, I've got this one. I've got it here.
Yeah, and that's
like
the Caledonia one. And you look at it and go, wow, they're really, really. And I'd never ever twigged that before at all.
Well, you got to say
that's really, really similar, isn't it?
it's similar. It doesn't have the
Doesn't have the tartan.
done the tartan stripe. Don't have that, Mark.
No, it doesn't have that. But yeah, very, very good
They
looking
should have
kits.
white fire.
But yeah, respect to them for having such a great away game. And it all apparently on this one, I didn't watch I only watched the highlights. I didn't watch the full game. The Scorchers captain, Teo Oje Dengibe, I believe. Got some. I had a go.
Oh,
I had a go.
You take the mick out of me for some of the pronunciations.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
It was the hesitation that made it.
It
funny.
was the hesitation, but he absolutely pushed through on some free throws, and they were tough. So respect to him for doing that. I know you've got one of the games that have got some high free throws in it, and I don't know if free throws is basic, but what you said earlier about rebounds, assists, steals, free throws has got to be one of the basics.
Free throws wins games, Mark. That's what Mick Byrne used to say.
Yeah. Arguably more important than getting steals.
Oh, I don't know. It's the thing I always look at in a game is, especially if you're playing in one, is if you lose by one and if you missed a free throw, I'd always be looking at that and going, oh, if I hit that free throw, it's a tie game.
But some of these
if I've missed another free throw, I'd be like, if I hit my free throws, we've won the game.
But some of these are ones that are getting you closer to the other team, and some of these are keeping the gap. And arguably keeping the gap is more important, because yes, you can creep up, but they will have the possession next and they will go forward. Whereas when you're ahead, you're always wanting to make sure that you are scoring on your possession, because if you're losing possession and you're not getting anything in there, they are always more, statistically, they're going to get closer to you quicker because you're giving it up. So,
I agree. I am a firm believer that if you score more points than the other team, you will win the game. I'm a firm believer of that. Write that down.
Score more points.
Write that down.
There's a lesson. Basketball, if you score more points than the other team, you will win.
You will win. There you go. And you quote Paul Goodale.
Who knew? All these years, who knew?
There's a really good quote. It's a football reference, but you could use it here. Where it was, I think it was an England manager. They said, on paper, this should be an easy game. And he turned around and said, well, it's a good thing that football isn't played on paper. But I mean, or whatever sport, you hear that all the time. People say, on paper, they're the best team. You think, okay, well, you're not playing on paper. Like, come, let's get the ball out. Let's go.
Well, you used to play those football player manager-y sort of games, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, arguably that's on paper, isn't it? But what was that like compared to the on-player paper compared to what happened in the actual game things? I don't know. Did they turn out as well as it was supposed to be? Was it that predictable?
I don't know. I got bored with those quite quickly and just cheated. You can become a manager on another team and just fine everyone and then sell all your best players. And that's how I did it. So Portsmouth always had like all the best players. It was an easy way to cheat. Anyway,
Nice.
Right. Are you
that was the other-
done?
It was, except for the fact that I learned something about Robinson.
Robinson who?
Justin Robinson, who was probably player of the game, scored 26 points, absolutely superbly. I never realised, he used to play for London, I believe, but the bit I wrote down was that he was a 2-time league MVP.
Yeah, bloody legend.
Yeah. So, okay, that's why he's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds really stupid, but we are coming to this fresh. So we're looking at it thinking, oh, okay, I had no idea of the legacy of some of these players. So unlike, when you come into the NBA, you've got an idea of a bit more of a history, should we say. We're not being introduced to some of these players.
You need to go back to all the old MVPs, Mark, and know who you're talking about.
No.
Wow.
No, when you come to the
Dedication.
party, you come to the party, then you work out everyone when you're there. You don't learn who's going to be at the party.
Okay, right.
You'll go.
On that wonderful note. Oh, what happened there? You've changed the buttons around.
I haven't changed anything.
That's the one I was trying to do. Right.
You're a donkey, you pressed the wrong button.
We talked about Caledonia beating the Lions, and I briefly mentioned they did get an 8-5-8-2 win over the Bristol Flyers. Now, the Bristol Flyers have been on a significant losing streak recently.
Yeah.
And that continued all the way.
Did it? Did it continue?
This is such a slow show this week. This is such a slow show. So, for those who don't know, me and Mark are actually doing a master's degree, and we're writing multiple assignments. Plus, we're doing multiple shows. So, I don't know about you, Mark. My brain is just fried. I was just trying to work out if this game, it was played in Bristol. Right, that's it. It was played in Bristol. That's all I was trying to make.
They played in Bristol.
Bristol Flyers played in Bristol against the Sheffield Sharks. Now, this game had a lot of twists and turns, so everyone at the Bristol arena would have been happy. So I'm just going to go straight to the third quarter with a minute left in the third. Bristol were down 55-65. And that seemed to be a key pivotal change in the game. By the end of the game, they took it to overtime. 66-66.
Yep.
And, the one guy that stood out for me for Bristol was Leslie Smith. He had some absolutely amazing... I'm just trying to think of the word. I was going to say he just had some, 7 amazing blocks, but I'm not going to say that. He had 6 blocks and 1 disgraceful windmill rejection. Like, I'm talking, his arm was back and he hit that ball in a freaking outer space.
Yep. He did also put the ball in his own basket, though.
It was his legend. He's going, I've done.
How many people can say they've ever done that? I've tipped the ball and it went in my own basket.
I've seen that loads of times.
It just must sit there and think, oh no.
I saw a guy once on the free throw line.
Does that go to the person who took the shot originally then?
No, it goes to the coach. Whoever scored.
No, so say,
No, it goes on the coach, I think.
Oh, it goes to the coach, okay.
I believe. Yeah, no, it does. My understanding is it goes on the coach. I've seen someone shoot a free throw. One of the defenders got the rebound and then just went straight up. And as he went straight up, it went in. And he just stopped, realizing what he'd done straight away. And everyone looked at him just like, hang on, something.
Mate, what are you doing?
What has just happened? And then so he scored. He then got his own rebound as it come down and taking it on the baseline and then to pass it back in. And we were kind of like getting back on D going, what does that mean? And that's why I remember that, because someone turned around went to our coach, you scored 2 points. That's got to be a stat. How many coaches have scored as coaches?
Who's the highest scoring coach?
Yeah, that's got to be good. Anyway, we're taking it away from the Bristol Flyers. So, you got to talk about T. John Jacob, he had 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. And you got to say, he had a devastating effect on the Sharks. In particular, he had a huge left-handed dunk coming in from the right-hand side, I think. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, left-handed. And look, that was just
absolute monster, wasn't it?
Absolute monster dunk. Look at the bloody fans. They're loving that. Got to also talk about Tevin Ollison, you know. He played exceptional as well with 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists.
And that's that Sheffield kit you like, that's grey.
I really like the Sheffield kit. Yeah, I really like it. And, even though Koch and Nichols together got 28 points, it wasn't enough for the Sheffield Sharks to get back in the game. But look, this is as close as it gets. 2-point game, 78-76, and that was in overtime. But I think what you said, once Bristol got over that, that little momentum just went with them in the fourth quarter, and they just rode that all the way into overtime. And
we've said about flow before, haven't we? And how once you get into that little rhythm and the team picks up the spirit, and someone's hitting their shots.
The Christmas spirit.
It could be the Christmas spirit.
It was the Christmas spirit, but they had the momentum, and that seemed to finally fall Bristol's way. They're back on winning ways, and you know what? You look at that table now. That recent form has dropped them from 2nd down to 6th.
So,
you can't help wonder if they hadn't gone back from that.
3 weeks.
What is it? 6 losses, 7 losses, whatever it is. I think it's 7. I think it's 7 losses. They'd be top of the table. That is absolutely had a devastating effect on them.
Well,
these last 7 games.
At the moment, they're like 9-9.
Yeah, 50-50. Yeah. So look,
which is still, in the NBA, if you're 50-50, you're in the playoffs already.
But look, they've turned it around. They won that huge losing streak.
What was interesting,
so they got to win. Let's see what happens.
Because they beat Sheffield, that's what helped put Caledonia up. So because Sheffield and Caledonia, where they are very, very close to each other, one's got 10 wins, one's got 9 and 7, they would have been neck and neck. I think Caledonia would have got it based on having less losses. But if Sheffield had won that game, Sheffield and Caledonia would be almost vying for the same spots.
Yeah.
But because they've beaten them, it's completely taken that away. There's a clear divide, and now Caledonia have some sort of free space to go up against towards Cheshire. But
yeah, I mean, look, you got to look at it now, and like with that thing with Bristol, they have got that win, and that's great. The teams above them, like Caledonia, look, they've all got games in hand. Cheshire games in hand, Caledonia 3 games in hand, Sheffield 2 games in hand. But you know what? I always think I'd rather have the points in the bag than have games in hand.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the points. So Bristol Flyers, you are back. You are back to winning ways. So this one's for you.
Well, I'm going to talk about London Lions.
I've done that one, Mark. Done it.
Yeah, but they also played Leicester Riders.
Let's move on.
They also played Leicester Riders. And you haven't done that.
No.
And they beat the Leicester Riders by 10 points. 79-89. You could say return to winning ways. It was a road victory for them. And it wasn't a hard-fought match. I can't pretend it was. Lions hit them hard, and they came out. There's a bit of a rivalry, something to prove there. They came out pushing hard, and they started to pull away by the second quarter, and wasn't really sort of much coming back. But by the time he gets to the second half, I won't say it's game over, but they were more like holding them off rather than extending the lead. I think London could have smashed them a bit more, personally. But some high scores. It was sort of 15 points, 13 points, 19 points. No one's really hitting mid-20s or 30-point games. So it was a relatively low-scoring game. It was entertaining, but I won't say too much about that. I think Leicester won't be disappointed with their performance. I just think no one gave anything in. They didn't give London free ball. They didn't make it easy for the London to freely shoot. And London are a quality team, so Leicester had their work cut out. But I just think that was a representative game of where they sit. Really, that's simple as that.
I think Sharma for the London Lions for me was just a defensive unit. Absolute defensive unit. He was just showing his form inside the paint. That's what I just took out of that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Conor Morgan were doing great, and I think the Lions themselves. You look at someone like Sam Decker, for example, and what people who may not, or maybe new to the BBL, or may not know, is Sam Decker was in the NBA, so that he did play in Europe for a while before coming to London last year. But all these players are top tier players. These aren't your basic league or your Sunday league players. They're all high quality professional basketball players playing at a very high level, and just making a few mistakes or having a few injuries on the team or people not turning up, that is really throwing this league. And both teams maybe a little bit depleted, but yeah, it was an okay game. It didn't like fire. Unfortunately, I didn't see the whole of it. I only saw the highlights, and I will give credit where credit is due. The highlights that they're doing with the BBL, the way they do in their media, again, I've got to give it a shout out. That is brilliant. You can't argue with the way that they're putting it across. But you didn't actually mention Jacob's dunk. Bristol Flyers against the Sharks. That was my play of the week. And I just saw that note just in the corner of my eye.
Yeah, I did trade on Jacob. Left-handed dunk. Came in.
Left-hand dunk, yes.
Yeah.
That's yours. Sorry, I'm looking at it from a different view. What a wally.
Yeah, what a wally. But, talking about Bristol, Mark.
Yes.
I did one thing. I just missed a note here. When Bristol Flyers lost to the Caledonia 85-82, there was a really good moment. Clutch play at 80-80, Ian DeBose, however you say it. He hit a huge three with 2 minutes left, giving the Gladiators a 3-point lead. And yeah, that was just a significant moment in the fourth.
But I guess if you have a big block, a steal, or anything, and then follow up with a big play at the end, you've not only denied someone something, but you've extended your lead. That's like the ultimate play, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Right, who's next?
Well, I think the only thing left that I've got written down is Cheshire Phoenix and the Leicester Riders. So I just did Leicester in London. It was a good game. It was actually better than I thought it was. And I've got one note that I wanted to read here. And it is, if I can read my own writing. The Phoenix and Riders game, the Riders had a 13-point lead in the third quarter. Yeah. By the fourth quarter, Phoenix had made a 22 points run.
Wow. What a run that is.
So I actually watched this game and I had to go back and work out what the difference was. So this is my level of stats. But yeah, they were 13 points in the lead, and then Phoenix, they literally just came to the fourth quarter and they just put their foot down. It was, when you see the playoff games and you see two teams who've played during the season, and then they get there and then it's just like one team's got more depth and they just put their foot down a bit. And the one that comes to mind is Toronto playing Orlando Magic, when Orlando got that first victory out of nowhere. And then Toronto just went, oh, we can't just steamroll these guys. And then the next games, they just whitewashed them completely, put their foot down, and they just went, "Oh, we've got to play a bit harder." It just seemed that Phoenix just found their gear, and it was unbelievable. But massive respect for that, because I didn't expect. I won't say not such an easy sort of victory in that, but I thought that was going to be a little bit more tightly contested than it actually was. I didn't think it was going to be as tightly contested as it was. I thought because of where Cheshire were, they were just going to run ahead. Based on where Cheshire are in the league and based on where Leicester's are, they're like sort of 7th or 8th, I think, floating around. 7th at the moment, aren't they, Leicester? Yeah. Well, Cheshire's in 2nd. You'd expect them to just to push past them. But when you then saw it, hang on a minute, they're 13 points down, what's going on here? And then the game finished 87-83. I mean, how are you going to expect that? There was game time threes from Rideau, sorry, should I say, and Chargois, I believe I've got his name right, throw in for a 3-point, and the Riders were literally just all over it. And you just think they absolutely lost. I won't say lost that game, but they lost that momentum and allowed Cheshire to get that form. Then it was over. Cheshire just took the lead. And then once Cheshire got the lead, they didn't let it off. It wasn't like a swapsies. There was a point where they got close.
No, they're 2nd in the league for a reason.
Yeah, but they got to it like Rideau hit like a game tire, and you thought, okay, 79, that's it. And then they just kept putting their foot down, and then they just kept extending it. And from that, they got another 7 or 8 points, and all the Leicester could pick up was another 4. But it was really, really good game to watch. And I had to go back and look at that thinking, I got confused at which player was which at one point. Let's put it that way. Because I just thought, they're up, no, they're up, no, they're up. And then it was just brilliant. Really good basketball. So I definitely recommend going and watching that. But it makes Cheshire have maintained their 2nd place in the league. And as the lead stands at the moment, are you giving Lions the trophy?
They still got the trophy, Mark. They have still got it.
You've been saying give it to them. Are you now?
No, they've got it. I've given it to them. They've got it.
Do you think psychologically, if you gave them the trophy now, would that change how they? Because like in Formula One, once you get to a certain amount of points, someone says, "Oh, we might as well give them the trophy," and then like the rest of the season, they go, "What should we do with these races?" People could still catch them. Though.
I mean, look, the only thing I would say about London is like they got 18 games played. They're halfway through the season.
Yep.
You got Cheshire and Gladiators. Again, I'd rather have the points in the bag, which the London Lions have got. So Cheshire have got to go and win 2 games to keep that consistency to match the Lions. Gladiators got to go and win 3 more games. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is an upset there. We're assuming they're going to win 2 games and 3 games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's an upset. Now, if there's an upset and Cheshire and Gladiators pick up their 6th loss, well, then you would still look at the league and go, okay, London are going to stay at the top. If they win those games and London pick up another loss, then I would probably say, get the car on standby to go and pick up the trophy.
I mean, you've had a soft spot for the Giants. They've got 4 wins and 15 losses.
4 huge wins, Mark.
I'm aware. 4
huge wins.
Plymouth City Patriots, 2 wins, 14 losses.
Hey, look, no one in that league has got Pat Wrights other than Plymouth City Patriots. That makes them arguably one of the best teams in the league.
But
fact,
when you go from there, which is 9th and 10th, and then you go to the top, let's say the top 8, between Surrey and so between 8th, 7th, 6th, and 2nd, to be fair, there's 4 or 5 wins difference. That's it.
Yeah, that's a lot. I'd say that's a lot.
Yeah, but 4 or 5 wins.
The gap is appearing now. You can clearly see the gap is appearing. Well,
you say that, but look at Bristol. Bristol are on 9 wins. Yeah. So are Newcastle, 9 wins. So are Sheffield, 9 wins. Caledonia, 10 wins. Cheshire, 11 wins. Those guys are starting to separate. Leicester are only 2 behind that 9 wins. And
Yeah,
then
but
you've got Surrey on
The
6.
stat that I'm looking at is, let's say they get those two games in hand on the Lions, they get those wins.
Yeah.
Well, there's still 6 wins behind the Lions.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
huge
Oh,
gap.
The gap as far as the Lions, yeah. I'm just drawing the line on Lions.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there's like between, yeah. I mean,
Between 2nd and 7th, there's actually some potential. I mean, Leicester, I think Leicester are a little bit too far away, maybe, and we're sorry. But between, like where we see in Bristol, they pulled that win. As quickly as they dropped from 2nd, they could quite easily get back up to 2nd, I think. If you're between 9th and 11th, there's only 2 games difference.
I've got to be honest, the Bristol Flyer logo is really starting to grow on me.
I've always liked them as a team. I definitely have the soft spot for those guys and Caledonia.
I like the shark tank and the grey kit. I like that. You know what? Personally, I might just go, I'm not going to support anyone. I'm just going to support the league.
Oh, God. Sit on that fence. Why don't you?
It's just, I can turn around and then be biased and say, yeah, I want Giants to win and something like that. But it's, I don't know. I've just got a soft spot for like half the teams.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. You can look down all of them. It's tough to pick because there's positives of all of them, from the Lions right through to the Patriots.
What is that smell? I can smell like candle flowers or something. What is that?
It's that thing there.
What?
It's that thing.
We've got some scents flying around the room.
It's Christmas.
It's better than
It's better than the gas that you bring in here. Smell that. It's Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I'm smelling. What is it?
I don't actually know.
I could tell you if I had my glasses. It says,
for everyone who wants to, you won't be able to read that. It's a diffuser.
Yep, it says Airwick
Yeah.
Essential Oils.
Yes.
Reed Diffuser.
Yes. It's a diffuser.
Muffled wine.
Mulled wine. That shows you how bad your thing is. I think it's mulled wine, cinnamon, something. But I thought, let's get into the Christmas spirit and let's make the studio smell nice.
Wow. I'm sitting thinking, what is that? I'm looking around and what is that smell?
Wow,
where's that come from?
At least it's not coming from you.
Right.
I've got 2 points for this week.
Go on then.
2 points. So the first one we said about off
Do I need to put my feet up?
No.
All right.
The quick one was BBL Women's League. We haven't talked much about it because we haven't seen much about it televised. But I just wanted to look at one thing. There's 11 teams.
Yes, there is 11 teams.
It's a bit unusual, isn't it?
Why?
Well, having an odd number of teams in a league it must be just challenging having an odd number of teams.
Why? Well,
just doing fixtures and stuff like that, I'd have thought.
I don't pick up on that. Why would that be difficult?
Because you could easily just...
Rather than play 9 teams, you play 10 teams.
No, yeah, I get that. What I'm saying is, wow. I understand maths.
Look, it's getting late and I'm tired. What? I don't get what you're saying.
If you had 12 teams...
Yeah. Why does it have to
5...
be...
When you look at the...
Is this your OCDC coming in?
No, I'm not saying. You could have a game where everyone's playing...
I just said OCDC.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you.
Oh, God, that's why you've got bloody Coke and chocolate here.
Coca-Cola, just to clarify, Coca-Cola. But the 11 teams...
Well, you panicked then, didn't you?
Yeah. Leicester Riders, Caledonia Gladiators, London Lions. Okay, that makes sense because they're all teams... Manchester Giants have got a team in there. Newcastle Eagles have got a team in there. This is where it gets interesting. Sheffield Hatters. So they're not the Sharks. They're the Hatters. I was curious why that was.
The Mad Hatters.
Was great. Durham.
All the players are probably just mad. And they just went, we're not going to call you the Sharks. We're going to call you the Mad Hatters.
So Durham's team, how would you pronounce that?
Pilates.
Palatinates, I guess.
Yeah, that's got to be. Don't know.
Well, and then you've got Essex Rebels. We've mentioned the Rebels. They've been breaking in quite a few league.
Wasn't it like 1,000 people?
Attendance. I think they had like 1,500 or something recently for attendance. Oakland Wolves. Wasn't sure where their connection is. Now, Cardiff Met Archers is an interesting one, as well as Nottingham Wildcats. And I want to focus on the Cardiff one because we've mentioned before about having a Welsh team in the league. And Cardiff have the men's in the D1 team, I believe.
Yeah,
that's the NBL.
I don't know where they are now. I think they're in NBL Div 2, but they did have a second team. So they've got a men's setup in there. But clearly the women's setup is better.
It's much better. But it's interesting because it's showing all the big cities and a lot of the urban cities, and let's be fair, that's where basketball is played, in a lot of the big urban towns and cities, obviously. All of these places have these infrastructures that we've talked about, where you've got growth teams and you've got men's teams and women's teams. But I just thought it was interesting that the Cardiff have their women's team in the BBL, but not the men's team. I thought that was quite interesting. So when they're talking about growth, and I know we mentioned about growth and how that the CEO of the BBL wants to expand.
Yeah, I think my understanding is they want to expand, but they want to expand with longevity.
Yeah.
They don't want to go, yeah, cool. Cardiff Met Archers, you come in, you go absolutely killed for a season. They go, right, we're off.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't promote that it's a stable league if that happened. So I completely get and support, what those guys are trying to do. That makes sense. Just on that last team.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have said last team, but the Nottingham Wildcats.
Yes.
Got to say, fantastic arena.
Yeah?
Yeah, played there. It's a lovely arena.
My
really
question was,
well looked after.
Are the arenas one of the things that's the pinch point? Because I know getting seating, getting capacities, getting the ability to host games and those sort of things, is that I can't even look at you right now. That is outrageous.
Oh, sometimes I play a little game whilst we're doing podcasts, and it's, can I make Mark laugh?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I can't even describe what I just witnessed, but yeah. I wonder how many of these are, they can't have a men's team, or they couldn't have had a men's team previously because of a restriction or something, and now the women's team have got more people coming to watch them, so as a result they're the ones blazing the trail. But I just thought it was really interesting, and great to see them being all promoted, obviously. But my second point.
Oh, you got a second point?
Yeah, it's the second one for this week, just because we always finish up with talking about the teams that are in Europe, and there has been a fixture.
You're going to give us a full list of every team in Europe?
No. It's just purely.
Are you going to do like the results, like Manchester United 0?
No.
Portsmouth FC 7?
Nope. It's
Manchester
basically
City.
Do you know that we've mentioned the European North Basketball League?
Yep.
And we've got in there a few teams. Now, two of the teams have had to pull out. That was what I thought was quite interesting. One of the teams
pulled out.
They have removed their insertion of the league. And one of them had to pull out because of finance reasons. And I think they were in Caledonia's division.
Oh, right.
But the other one were in an Israeli team.
So do the results get voided, or?
No, they've had to pull out before any of the fixtures, so they've had to change fixtures.
Oh, so they've not played fixtures?
Well, and they've brought in a new team. So one of the other ones, I think it was Hapoel Be'er Sheva Dimona. They were the... That's it. I've got to go with it.
Hapoel the Be'er Sheva Dimona.
I believe they're a team in Turkey. I could be mistaken, but they've had to pull out because of. I think it was them who had to pull out because of everything going on. You're laughing just because I'm saying pull out, aren't you? Wow.
Well, you're saying it over and over and over again.
I know, but the other ones,
the Bakken Bears.
So these guys are all from Denmark, and it's the second Danish team to enter the NBL. But that's really good because you go, hang on.
They look like it kicks off there.
Yeah, it looks like, look at that, look at the bear. Oh, that was pretty cool. But they're the second team that's actually very, very, very similar to a Memphis Grizzlies / Vancouver Grizzlies sort of logo.
Well,
But
I think that looks better.
yeah, it does look pretty cool. It's got definitely got the same sort of
It
colouring.
looks a bit more vicious.
But that's the Bakken Bears Aras, and they're the second of their Marks team anyway. But I just thought I'd bring it up because I thought it was sad in a way, because the other team who had to pull out was because of the war in Israel, and there was an Israeli team, and because of that whole thing that's going on in Gaza and everything. We're not getting political or anything, but isn't that a shame that there are teams that are in this league and but they obviously, because of what's going on, and
Sport should bring everyone together.
yeah, but they're not able to be allowed to compete and get involved. So that's a real shame. So they had to pull out.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
Thank you for joining us in a very chaotic BBL edition of the Talking Basketball podcast. Thank you very much for always listening to us. If you haven't listened to all of our other episodes, please go back and have a listen. We've got 44 of them racked up now. So
44?
44, and we want to hear from you on our email, which is what's our email?
ukbasketballpodcast@gmail.com.
Or check us out on Instagram. I've been Mark.
I have been Paul. I'm tired as hell.
And we're going to book a badminton court just for you.
I am so tired. I'm tired of badminton. Tired of badminton. See you later.